I'm live. I'm live. Hi. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Fun Day Sunday. And welcome to today's project, which is going to be making a distressed patch on a hat. I got a friend. This is his band, and I'm making him some hats. So what I'm doing is, he was non-specific as to, hats or whatever. So he just said, make me something cool. I trust your judgment. Here it is. The thing about these hats, though, is I'm using up damaged hats. Let me show you what I got. Like this snapback hat here. I had all of these. Look, 2009, right? Logo shifted. I don't even know what was wrong with this one. Puff didn't work out right. Might not actually use this one today. But I have over here beside me. Can you show beside me? Over here. Wait, maybe I can set it up on my stool. Here's my bucket. I've got polka dotted hats, and these are really, really nice hats, right? Super expensive, so I saved them. And I have a bunch of really awesome ones. Here's a Richardson 112 where the logo messed up. Some maroon ones. So you kind of get the idea, right? These are those hats that got messed up. And I knew I was going to use them for something someday, but I didn't know what. So this is what I'm going to use them for. And even I have this like really cool corduroy. You can't really see it on the screen. It's corduroy. That logo didn't turn out so well on the corduroy. It was too many stitches. But that's fine. I'm going to cover that. And I'm going to make him 10 hats to start with. So I think I'm going to do this tie-dye one, the corduroy one. Already got the gray one. Kind of like this red and white stripey one. So I'm going to pick out some hats for him out of some of the cool stuff I have. Here's a really cool black kind of one. Let's see. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's going to be 5. So I need 5 more. What do I have in this box? Let's do a camo one. Here's a 7 panel. Do one of those. 2. Do the red or the gray? Maybe I'll do the gray one. 2. Maroon. 3. There's one with a cool paisley edge. 4. I need 1 more. I want to do this polka dotted green one for some reason. All right. So this brand, just to reiterate, is called Cambridge. So really, really cool stuff from this brand. Let's see, what is this brand, just so that you are up to. So this is called Crown with a, I don't know, it's like an eagle on the label. That's a decky hat. Decky hat. Decky hat. It's a flex fit. Flex fit. This one is a flex fit Delta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, here they are. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, let's see, what is this red and white one? This red and white striped hat is a Sportsman. hat. Yeah, I guess I'm holding stuff up too high because I can't see the screen to see where I'm holding stuff. So this tie-dyed one is a Color Tone brand hat. Color Tone. And the corduroy hat is a high quality headwear crown. Crown, another crown one. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's my hats. So this is what I got. Hats, right? So I picked out the 9 that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set them over to the side. Oh, there already. And then I'm gonna put this mess back away, but I'm gonna work on that later. And you won't even know that I took 10 hats out of here when I'm done. All right. Oops. I found 2 on the floor. It's all right. Missed. I threw them on the floor. You know how I like to throw stuff around. So, all right. So, I have already got my hat driver installed. I've oiled my hook and my trimmer and my driver. And I have all of my pieces that I'm going to be doing pre-cut to my 19 inches. Even though I'm doing a patch on a hat, I still want it to stay hooped well. So the other thing that I have is the fabric that I'm using for this is a black denim. And I literally went into my fabric storage room. There are videos of my fabric storage room somewhere. There'll be a link somewhere. Anyways, fabric storage room, and I pulled out a pair of jeans that were black. That was the color that I wanted. I guess they were Tommy Hilfiger at one point in time. So, and I cut off my strips, and they're going to be pretty fat and excessive. But I just got to have some fabric. And I'm going to cut all the extra off, all the scraps off. Oh, thank you, Tess from So Tickled Embroidery. Morning, so happy to find you're live. Welcome. Yeah, today's little project, you know, I either do projects that people ask me to show them how to do things. So if you have any kind of thing you're trying to figure out how to do on the machine, that will work for the Summit machine, the Melco EMT16 machine, any of the Melco Amaya modeled machines, the Bravo machines, the Bernina E16 machines. All of the projects I'm going to show are things you can do on all of those machines. Or if you're working with a different brand of machine, it doesn't matter. But welcome to Colorful Threads, and I am Juliet, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the little notification bell and say all so that you get notified whenever I do my Sunday Funday lives. And if you found a good use for today's video and it was helpful and it gives you a new project, a new thing to try, give me a thumbs up. So, all right. Now, what I'm not going to go over today is how to set up the stitch file, but let me tell you how easy the stitch file is. I just made a box. I made a rectangle with some rounded corners, and I did 2 of them, and you'll see when I stitch it. It's going to be a placement stitch, where to put my fabric so that I make sure I get it centered on the hat, and then a bean stitch, a heavy bean stitch. I did a 5-thread bean stitch because I wanted this white outline to be really bold. So it's a bean stitch 5 count. And you're going to see it to do all of the fraying, we're going to need a seam ripper. Seam ripper. All right, and then all the standard stuff that you need for making hats. So let me get started with hooping a hat. Trash. Okay, let's just do this blue one next. I'm going to go ahead and pull the labels off now. Okay. All right, get my stabilizer on. You know I like my 19 inches of stabilizer because just like when you're hooping flats, you want this to go all the way around. Doesn't matter what shape your design is, you want to hoop it well. Otherwise, it can shift on the machine and then you end up with things that don't look right. Okay. Hat. The bill is nice and flat on this one. Pull out my sweatband. Just gonna put it down. Tess, I'm so tickled. I never thought to put hat hooper onto the machine. Great idea. Yeah, so I wanted everything to be kind of right here so that I wasn't trying to go like back and forth and around. So underneath my cover though, I did have to put a 1/2 inch thick piece of a block to put in there so that I could actually tighten it up because it's so skinny. So I did have to put a block in there, but I just wanted everything to be like right here. All right, I'm gonna go all the way to my bill like normal, rotate to the side. Like I hoop every hat the same no matter what I'm doing because I want it to be right where I want it to be. Okay. And stage 1, because it is going to be sort of a straight line somewhere over here. I have a ruler and I'm going to measure and make sure 1 and 1 tick mark and 1 and 1 tick mark. Okay, that's going to be level. Clip at the end. Got 2 different shaped clips, so I'm having to stop and look at them. Okay, all the way to the edge. And then all the way to the tip. There we go, and we're back around. Now, because I know I'm sewing pretty low on this hat, I don't want any rub marks, so I'm going to take a previous piece of stabilizer, clip that in place, keep the bill nice and safe. Okay. Now, I have already set up my colors on the machine and my hoop on the machine, but I'll go through my settings for you in this. So I have the wide angle cap frame. I've got my colors set up. And so what I have is my place, because this is applique, right? So I have my placement stitch, wherever I'm going to place it. I have my tack down stitch, and then I have my cover stitch, which is, or my embroidery. What I don't need is this pause. So I'm going to do my placement, sew, and then finish sewing. Pause. So I have a pause in there. Pause just stops the machine without applique moving it out. You don't want to do that with hats. Okay, so colors, wide angle cap frame. I have my speed at about 750 because each one of these hats are a little bit different, and I'm going to sew according to the fabric on the back. This is a really rough plastic on this one. So I'm going to sew at about 750. I am not in a hurry. It's going to be a quick stitch. It's estimating my time at 6 minutes. I have my fabric pieces cut and ready. Now let me get centered. Tess, do you need to click up or down the foot thingy on the left side? So yes, you would adjust your presser foot height, which is the gear on the side. Let's see if we can go to needles, 16. This gear, yeah, this is your presser foot gear, which does raise and lower your presser foot. Let's see where mine is. On my Summit, I have a quick needle down button. So right now, what I can see is over here where the seam is nice and thick, my foot is touching, and I am all the way up, actually. All the way up. So left is down, right is up. So you'll find what height you need it to be, and you're going to go with the thickest part of your hat, and the rest will be so fine, right? You're compensating everything for what's in the seam. So that looks good. I'm going to do my presser foot back up. That's great. Let's see, get centered. Centered is there, and I do have my design as low as I can get it to go over here in my hoop, just because some of these hats are mid-profile and some are high profile, so I want to make sure I'm at the lowest point. I'll do a trace for you so you can see what that looks like. Trace. Yeah, so see it's going down right at that 1/2 inch and then up. Beautiful. Maybe on this hat I'm going to come up a little bit and trace again. Make sure I cover all of that previous embroidery, right? Yeah, that'll work. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to hit start now. And it's going to stitch out my placement stitch so that I can see where to put my fabric. Hopefully you can still hear me. It's just a noise reduction machine. Okay, now I have a placement stitch on my hat. To make sure I lay my fabric over it, I'm going to make sure I'm using the front side of my denim. And I'm just going to cover all of this area. Then I'm going to hit start. Oh, I forgot to load my new design. Looks good. Now we're just doing our embroidery. So I did redo my design so that instead of starting at the top, it starts at the bottom, so that if I need to pull on the denim to make it smooth, I can. So I'll reload my design before I start the next hat. No different from where the light was? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, Tess, I'm sorry. Came in a couple of minutes late. What font am I using for Ruckus? Okay. So the font that I'm using for Ruckus is actually a True Type font. So it's a True Type font, and it is called Headbanger. What site did we find it on? Was it like 101 fonts? Or free fonts? Okay. It doesn't remember where we found it. There is a website called What the Font, and you can put your font in and it will tell you what it is. All right. Now, I'm going to unhoop the hat because I found it easier to do the distressing with it in my hand. So, do my little trim of my thread right there. Unhooped. Yeah, I was trying to do the distressing while it was hooped, and it was just too hard to get into the bottom half of the hat, so. Okay. Got my good fabric scissors. I have to keep them over there so I don't cut up my paper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut about a half an inch away from my sewing. And the cool thing about the distressed is it doesn't have to be perfect. Because distressed is not perfect. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe a little shorter in here. Like that. Okay. All right. That looks good. Okay, let's see. Okay, what is the font? Okay, that's the same as before. Okay, now get your favorite seam ripper. Whatever seam ripper you like, whichever one you use the most. And I found it easier to start with the bottom because the rest is the easiest part. Start with the hard stuff first, which is the bottom. And I'm going in about maybe 1/8 of an inch just off my stitches. And I'm just going to rip it. About every 1/4 inch is what I did. Because I only want to go through this. I don't want to go through the actual blue of the hat. So this is the time consuming part. In a perfect world, I would have another hat on the machine sewing so that I can use that 6 minutes to rip this one out. But I just want to, go through the full steps of completing the project for the people that just want the lesson. And then we're going to hang out and do some sewing. Would I charge extra for this if I was doing this for a client that was actually going to pay me? Yes. But because this is like my first round of hats for my friend, I'm not going to charge him anything for these. And then we'll see how the sales go. If people want more merchandise, I'll make more. And then we'll start charging. And then maybe I would use brand new hats. Maybe. But everybody likes to have one hat. And so this will give every hat its own uniqueness, which I like as well. So, Tess, is there anything that you want to learn how to do on the machine that I could turn into a tutorial maybe next week? Or if it's just a question that I can answer, general embroidery question, machine question, I'm here. That's kind of why I'm doing the live. Oh, look, my mom's calling. Possibly. All right, now I just kind of come in and take my fingernails and just kind of fluff and rough everything up a little bit. Give it that distressed, rough kind of look. I'm not trying to be neat about it. And then I got my handy dandy blower. Clean up. Yeah, I will have to vacuum afterwards. This is true. I will vacuum. This is our studio, but I will vacuum when I'm done making a royal mess. Yeah, but that cleans up. And there you have it. A really cool distressed patch using up some old stuff. I completely covered all the old embroidery. Voila. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Let's see, chat. Well, I have done the sides and back, but it's been so long I forgot. Toothbrush works great for that also. Yep, I have used a toothbrush. Can be a little bit more aggressive a toothbrush, but certainly you could use whatever kind of tool works best for you, for sure. And next hat is down. Done. Okay. So, Tess, I have an entire playlist dedicated to hats, dedicated to hooping hats, so you can do the sides of the hat. What machine, what model do you have? Because the Bravo does not allow sewing on the sides of the hats, so you would have to do some creative hooping, which there's a hat back clamp that I did, and we still stitched on the side of the hat for the Bravo users to be able to use the hat driver. But I have an entire playlist on hats and how to set up the designs for the sides of hats and measurements and all that fun stuff. So if you need a refresher, I have that for you. You have the EMT16. Okay, yeah, so the EMT16 is great. Basically, this is the X model. Just has a different trimmer than the EMT16 does. But yeah, I have a whole playlist. This live will get added to that playlist as well. I just like the live format so much better than trying to do this, perfect polished video, which is not reality. Our world does not play well because we have hats, because we have all these soft things that we're having to hoop and do weird stuff to, and we have machines with all these settings and stuff. So I like the live format because then you get to see me work through it with you, and you can see where the problems are, where the issues are. We're going to work through them together. We're going to change settings as need be. That's why I like this format so much better than, the polished, perfect YouTube videos. It's not me. I don't want to be a video editor. 1 and 1 tick mark. And 1 and 1 tick mark. There it is. Hats are a good profit, and if we can get these hats to selling, then we'll be able to pull in a good amount of money on a hat. Because my price for a hat, for if I was doing this, let's say it's in 6 minutes it runs, so plus my cleanup and whatever, so it takes about 10 minutes. So my embroidery is going to at least be $13 because I don't touch anything for less than $13. So the embroidery for this would be $13. And then the hat, so whatever that costs with a markup. Let's say I bought this hat for $5, it would be $10. So $23 would be my price for this hat. And then they're going to mark it up to like $40 or $45. So everybody makes a little bit of money. Some shops charge a little bit more, but I only charge, my minimum is $13 for a job like this. So everybody's minimums are a little bit different. Just kind of depends on where in the country you are, what, just what area you're in. All right, let me change my design before I get started to the new one where it stops at the bottom, not the top. Now, Tess, in case you didn't know, you can trade your machine in on the summit if you're interested. I have a link below to my account manager, but you could certainly call your account rep and say, hey, I'm looking to get into the summit. They'll verify your model and your make, and they'll say, well, this is how much we can give you for it, and trade it in like a car. Only embroidery company that does that is Melco. So if you're interested, it's doable. So this is ready. Yeah, I've traded in every model machine I've had to Melco directly and gotten the next model. I kind of skipped models, but I did go from the EMT16X to the Summit just because I had to have the touchscreen. I love it. All right, let me get my center. This one I'm going to have to go a little lower on because this is a mid profile, so I might have to trace it. Flip it 180 first. Yeah, now it's going to start in the back. Okay, color sequence. White pause, white, white. Yep. Speed is going to be the same. Tension is going to be the same. And let's trace. one that covers everything. Right? Corner. Yeah, covers all that lettering, covers all that lettering. Yeah, perfect. Covers everything right there. And I'm not worried about this puckering that's going on here because that's only going to be the line across the top. So not worried about that. We're ready. These kind of projects are so fun. Okay. On the front side of my denim. And this stitch it's doing right now is the 5 strand bean stitch. So you see how simple it is. I'm just kind of pulling on the denim just a little bit to make sure it doesn't pucker in the back. Embroidery. Now, I'm getting my other hoop. Yeah, so I need more clips. Haha. Yeah, I'll have these done in no time. So where are you at, Tess? Miss Tess, where are you at? Just general, city, state. Put the next one on and get it started. Do a little trace, make sure it's going to cover all of my stuff. I'm going to come up a little on this one. This one's a high profile. Just a touch, and I'm going to go ahead and just hit start. In the Utah, I can't see that. In the Utah what? Utah. Okay, gotcha. It's hidden by the little heart bubble on my phone. Utah, welcome. This one's laying down really nice. Different shape of a hat. It's a 5-panel. All right, that's gonna now sew, and I can finish hooping. Yeah, see these like pretty stickers? I'm gonna leave all of that on the hat, but I'm gonna cover that with the paper, and that's what's gonna keep it protected. Ooh, this one's stretchy, like knit. Really stretchy. Ooh. Best trick of the day. Okay, finish cleaning this one. All that sews. And you can get as picky about, ripping out the inside paper as you want. So we'll probably go for an hour like normal, Drew. And then at an hour, we'll stop. So just let me know when we get close to an hour. I can't see that from here. Okay. Just give me a 2-minute warning. Yeah, I guess I'm going to be distressing later. We'll see. Okay, pop this one off. This one on. Wow, there's no like center line here. Let's just do a trace and see where it lands. About the same. We'll see. I'll do a left. Left is about an inch. And the right is about an inch. That's one of the features that I like about the Summit is in the trace. There's like a whole sub program now where you can go to different points in the design. Love that. Back to center, close, and start. Hi everybody, welcome to Colorful Threads. Drop in the comments below where you're watching from. Bobbin break. Am I out of bobbin? Let's try again. I don't know. I want to check, but it's attached. Let's try one more time. Oh, definitely no bobbin. All right. Nope, bobbin is attached. All right, so bobbin is attached, and we still have plenty of bobbin. So that means, and my tension is good, that means my top act feed is a little too loose. So I will make that adjustment. Okay. Let's see, I have it at 7, so I'm just going to drop it down to 4. And let's see, I'll back up 10 stitches and start again. Let's just be in that corner. Once I got past the corner, it's fine. All right. Atonia, do you know where we can buy the round ring to mount the caps? We live in Italy. We have a Melco Bravo, but we don't have suppliers. So, are you talking about the hoop itself, which is this piece? Or are you talking about this piece mounted here? So this is the hoop itself, and this is the gauge. So Drew, can you go to Shop Melco and pull up those parts and put a link in, please? So we'll pull up the Shop Melco website, which they do ship internationally. So you will be able to get supplies directly from Melco. Just type in the letters WACF. Yeah. Scroll down. There's the hoop. There's the gauge. So did you see the gauge, which just to the left of it? I think they wanted the gauge. Yeah, so drop a link to both of them, the gauge and the hoop itself. Thank you. Now, also on that Shop Melco site, if you need the entire setup with the driver as well, that is on there as well. And in the product descriptions, it will have on there what machines the hoops and the gauges and the everything are for. So just make sure that you double check the Bravos listed for you. But they do have an international sale, shipping. I think they use FedEx for international shipping. Because I've been on I travel to the Caribbean islands to repair machines because I'm also a technician. And anytime I'm on the islands and I need parts, Melco ships them to me. Just depends on what island as to whether it takes 3 days or 5 days. Perfect. That's exactly the kind of questions that I'm here to answer. I'm going to take this sticker off. and welcome from Italy. So we're gonna go today for about an hour, and head stop for the day. But you're welcome to leave comments. You're welcome to go back to the beginning of the video as well, and see what we're making. It's just patches on hats. They're just so much fun. Okay. So that, and I didn't finish hooping. That's all right. It's okay. What's your, it's been an hour? Okay, so it has been an hour. Okay, so if you missed any of the video, back to the beginning. In the very beginning, we go over all of the steps for making the patch on a hat, which is just applique, and all of the procedures there. We talk about the fonts that I'm using, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. We are going to... Thanks, Tess, for stopping by. It was nice to see you. We'll see you next week. Yeah, this is Colorful Threads Embroidery, and I am Juliet, your neighborhood Melco machine repair tech. Well, if you're here in Florida, and trainer, and I will see you next week. Have a great day.